What's happening, Nerd Squad, and welcome back. With the Venom sequel coming out in the near future, fans are starting to brush up on their symbiote knowledge. You never know who is going to appear in the movie. Eddie Brock's Venom first appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man issue 300. That was his big introduction, rather. And since then, we've seen many incarnations of the symbiote. So for today's list, we're counting down the top 10 alternate symbiotes you wouldn't recognize. I'm Taylor McWaters, you're you. Let's dive in. Kicking off the list at number 10, May Parker, Earth X. Venom from Earth 9997, aka May Parker, is quite unique when it comes to taming the symbiote. In Jim Krueger's Earth X run from 1999, May Parker chose not to keep her fantastic abilities passed on to her a secret. She embraced them, which is something I would do, I think. She was actually trained by Uncle Matt Murdock that is, to use her spider sense as if it's a radar. Things were going swimmingly until she became the target of the symbiote, the same symbiote that had been used by her father years prior. Peter rejected the symbiote at first, so now it was a little upset, and it swore revenge on the Parkers. It left an older Eddie Brock and made its way to May. Thing is, when the symbiote did bond to May, her spider sense training came in handy, and she was able to subjugate the symbiote and take control. We love a hot start, but it might get worse. And before we continue on with this list, if you want to go ahead and tap the thumbs up, if you want to, no pressure, but it really does help us out quite a bit. You guys are the best. Thank you for your support. Let's get back to this list. Number 9, Kingpin Venom. If I took one look at this guy in real life, I'd probably throw up out of fear. Wilson Fisk, straight out of Earth TRN 421, appeared in the 100th anniversary special Spider-Man issue 1 back in 2014. A rich guy who wants power. Where else to look than to get your fat sausage fingers on a symbiote? That's exactly what Kingpin did. In fact, he upgraded it. That's right, he added techno-organic improvements to the symbiote that gave him access to any and all tech on the planet. And that includes your recently deleted, so you might want to go check those are gone. When Eddie Brock and Peter Parker were duking it out, they both came to a conclusion that they should just destroy the symbiote. But that's when Kingpin came along and kidnapped the two. Great idea, guys, just a little too late. I love Kingpin Venom. When he's chasing Peter down, he's controlling tech and using it against him. It really is the worst case scenario for Pete. Peter managed to escape the beast by luring him into the woods and starting a fire. There he was able to get the symbiote off of him. See, normally forest fires are a thing you try and avoid, but in this case, with the whole tech stuff, I think we can all agree it was Peter's only choice. You get a pass this time, Pete. Number 8, The Punisher. Taking a peek into the What If series, Volume 2, Issue 44 to be specific, we find the Venom symbiote taking over Frank Castle rather than Eddie Brock. This was the most people the Punisher has ever taken out in one run. It is extremely violent. I mean, right off the bat, Frank finds Rocky Vance, a guy robbing investors with his inside trading, a guy who is about to take over the electronics industry, and now he doesn't have a face. Awesome. So after this, people obviously start to freak out, guns are drawn, and Punisher Venom starts to figure out just what is it he can do. Webbing? Okay, cool. Can it do bullets? Okay, good to know. The symbiote tried to take over Frank's body, but Frank vowed to end his own life if that was the case. So that's how he remained in control. That's the golden rule. Just put your life at risk and then the symbiote will play along. Just don't tell Don Fortunato that. Number 7, Venomsaurus Rex. Oh, what? Okay. A Venomsaurus Rex can be seen in the pages of Old Man Logan, and while it's a spectacle on its own and really doesn't need any more explaining to be cool, I'm going to explain it a bit more, because it's cool. Old Man Hawkeye actually gave us a little bit more of a backstory for this goopy nightmare in issue 6. So we see the T-Rex before its alternate version is born, just a regular scary old T-Rex. Now, it swallows venom, and for a hot moment, the daring duo believe they've actually gotten off the hook. Imagine if the Venom symbiote bonded with one of those long neck dinosaur boys. Honestly, I think any dinosaur would be terrifying, but the T-Rex, I'm shook. Number 6, Clint Barton. So while Clint may have evaded the symbiote's grasp in Old Man Hawkeye, he wasn't too lucky in the alternate reality of Earth 32323. Beginning with Civil War Volume 2, Issue 2, Clint Barton came into contact with it right after the death of Mac Gargan. After that, Venom Clint was recruited by Peter Parker in order to infiltrate the Iron, Tony's war zone following the superhuman Civil War, in order to steal supplies for Beast to finish his weapon for Project Bellcurve. So he agreed, but upon landing, the group was attacked by Stark Sentinels, and Elektra lost her life. So far, this mission was a rocky one, but anytime Venom's involved, it's at least going to be dangerous, or else, what's the point of reading it? Number 5, Demon. Great name. Coming in hot from Earth 5101, Pavitar Prabhakar made his first appearance in Spider-Man India issue 1. Pavitar moved to Mumbai with his Aunt Maya and his Uncle Bim to continue studying. He got half a scholarship and was determined to keep the success going. His best and only friend for that matter, MJ, Mira Jane, stood by his side. He got his powers through an ancient ritual, which I gotta say, I think that's way cooler than a spider just going on the hand. Nalin Oberoi, a crime lord of this alternate reality, used an amulet to get himself possessed by a demon. That demon was determined to hold the door open for other demonic forces afterwards. So Pavitar, while being chased by bullies, ran into an ancient yogi who then gave him the powers of a spider. Which sounds great, but when you find out that in this reality's Venom is a century-old demon stuck in an amulet, you get a little nervous for him. Demon Venom was freed by a cult called the Neo-Alvers, and once he was free, nearby towns were just obliterated. You had to set the name Demon, I'm not gonna lie. Number 4, Alea Bell. Making her first appearance in Venom 2099 issue 1, Alea Bell was injured in a crash. The same crash that ended her mother's life, sadly. Now, these origin stories are so tragic. It's like you know what's gonna happen, yet you're still thrown off when you read it. She was raised by her father, Theo Bell, and Alea was having a hard time at school. Some students were bullying her because of her scars on her arm. Those kids are jerks, don't be like those kids. It's rule number 1. Alea was selected to go under this experimental treatment developed by Alchemax scientist Dr. Russell. But during this treatment, she saw these visions of an ancient dark god. And all these humans bonded together to create this massive chunk of pure darkness. She wasn't having a pleasant go, but her arm, on the other hand, was now back to normal. So she at least felt a bit better in some way. But while a confrontation unfolded with this mean punk rock wannabe chick in school named Bether, a black tendril reached out of her hand and cut off the Alchemax monitoring bracelet. And that was just the beginning. You gotta be better, Bether. Stop bullying people. Number 3, Ben Grimm. Fresh out of Earth 51838, making his first haunting appearance in Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man issue 304, Ben Grimm became the head guard of a prison for superhumans, of course under the commands of President Harry Osborn. Okay. While there, that's when he came into contact with the symbiote and became this monstrosity. While the Resistance broke in the prison to break out Dr. Doom, they had to now go head to head with this Venom thing, literally Venom thing. Nice try, guys. Number 2, Ngozi. Ngozi was an excellent track star. She began her comic run in Venomverse War Stories issue 1. One frightful day, however, changed her life forever. She was involved in a horrible bus crash, which in turn paralyzed her from the waist down. Really heartbreaking premise, as are all of these, really. She was outside one day trying to catch a grasshopper for her bug collection afterwards, and that's when she bonded to the Venom symbiote. The symbiote beforehand had been evading the grasp of Rhino, but when Black Panther was killed in the battle, Ngozi convinced the symbiote to work with her in order to protect those residing in Lagos. The Dora Milaje saw all of this go down. They saw the courage in this new Venom, so they recruited her into their ranks and into Wakanda, where she would then get another life-changing upgrade into that of the new Black Panther. Number 1. Gwenom. Shooting over to Earth 65, Gwendolyn Stacy made her first appearance in Edge of Spider-Verse issue 2 simply as Spider-Woman. But by time issue number 24 rolled around, Matt Murdock wasn't a helpful ally. In fact, he was a bit evil. Yeah, he created the Venom symbiote in this world, so when Spider-Gwen came into contact with the symbiote, Gwenom was now born. Matt Murdock ordered Alexei Saitskovic to go after her father. The poor guy was beaten into a coma. So Gwenom embraced the dark side here, but you can't really blame her. Also, Gwenom's design alone worth taking a look into, and you could do so yourself starting with Spider-Gwen Volume 2, issue 25. Guys, which other versions of symbiotes are your favorites? Which ones don't get enough of the spotlight? Drop us a comment or two down below and we'll for sure try to get to them all. That's why we're here after all. Thanks for sticking around. I've been your host, Taylor McWaters. Hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the next one. Later, skaters.